So one thing that can be really difficult is taking a Rhino model and actually inserting it into a photograph in the right perspective. So what we're going to go ahead and look at here is a way of actually mapping this object to a different perspective than it's currently in based on a photograph that we had. So to make this really clear, I'm going to go ahead and just change my lens length here to make it really obvious what we're doing. Let's make it really wide. So you can see we're at a pretty steep angle here. And we're going to try to align it to a background image. So what I'm going to look at first is importing a background image into this. So we've gone over already two methods of doing this. So one is background bitmap and one is picture frame. So this is going to be actually neither of those. This is going to be something that adds an image to this background as a full-on image that we can't really do anything with. We can't scale it. We can't make it grayscale. We can't move it. We can't do anything like that. So we're going to right click on perspective and then go to viewport properties, and a window over here will pop up. You can also find it if you just go to properties by default without anything clicked. It will default to your viewport properties. We're going to navigate down here to the bottom where it says wallpaper, and then it's going to say file name no. So we'll click here. It's going to open a browser and we're going to go ahead and find our photo. So what I've done before this is I actually just made an image of this object in a different view, in a sort of rendered type of view. You would have a photograph here and you would need to sort of pick points around that photograph where your building was sitting. So something like a sketch or something like that would be really helpful. You can also, if you have the site modeled into your building, you can pick points on the site and then those would map directly into the actual photograph that you're using. So what we're going to do here is a command called perspective match. So type perspective match. So it's going to tell you to enter 6 or more pairs of points. So point number 1 on the image, we're going to use this upper left corner. And then it's going to ask for corresponding 3D point number 1 on the model. So we're going to correspond that to that. And we're going to keep looking at these points and we're going to keep going around until we have 6 of them chosen at least. Obviously, the more of them that you choose, the more accurate this process is going to be. And that didn't work. I actually ended up clicking off of it. So we'll try that again. So we'll click this upper point. And you can see that I'm picking points that I can actually snap to. So this doesn't really work all that well if you're not picking points that are easily snappable. So you can see now what I've done is I've actually mapped that fairly closely. You can see that there's a little bit of a discrepancy back there. You can try it again and you can use actually 7 points. So we can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we can add that as a 7th. That would probably get you a little bit more accurate, but this gets you pretty darn close every time you do it. So this should be helpful if you're trying to actually match up the perspective. You see that it actually goes ahead and changes your lens length and everything to actually match the photograph. So if you're not exactly sure what lens the photograph was taken with or how far away it was or where the target was, this is a really good and simple way to actually map your model into your photograph. Sometimes it does take a little bit of trial and error, so don't get frustrated if it doesn't work the first time. I would say just zoom around your model and try to pick a couple of different points that would help you get the perspective actually right. You can analyze sort of what's going on and maybe the order of operations of the points that you're choosing and where you're actually choosing them. The more you actually snap to physical points in your Rhino model and snap those to physical points on the site, the better success you're going to have with this command.